welcome back to our channel. I am Anne and I am one half of the Sussex Handmade Soap Company along with my good friend and business partner Wayne. And now it is February. Happy February everybody. And that means that today we are going to be bringing you the first of our March releases. So we're going to be showing you us making our March soap. All the February releases are now available in our shop just here. And we are also now doing regular videos on Tuesdays, showing some behind the scenes, businessy kind of footage of how we run our business, along with some business tips and hints and kind of tricks just from our point of view if running a small soap business is something that you're actually interested in as well. So don't forget to check out those new videos. Today we are creating a Mother's Day collection. The whole of our March collection is going to be very much geared towards Mother's Day because that is obviously in March. So we are going with lots and lots of pretty florals and pretty colours. The first of those is going to be today, and we're going to be creating a very pretty little soap with some peach roses on the top and scented with a very, very beautiful strawberry and rhubarb fragrance oil. So without any further chit chat, let's move on and show you the making of that soap. So we start today's video much the same way as we start all of our others, and that is by adding our cooled lye water into our melted solid and liquid oils. And I know that the beginning of these videos is very much samey, almost verging on a little bit on the duller side if you've watched a lot of our videos, because they do all start the same way, but the reason for that is that this is kind of the crucial beginning step to making soap, and I don't want to miss it out on any of our videos in case that happens to be the one and only video that someone is watching of ours, because then you're missing how to actually start making the soap. We've got a new stick blender, the other one just broke. We're testing this one to see how it works for us, and we are going to bring the oils and the lye water to emulsion today, and then we're going to split off 1/6 of this batter. So that is very roughly 1/6 of the batter split off. Now it doesn't have to be completely exact. We are at an emulsion and we're just going to colour this portion using 0.5 grams of indigo dye and 0.5 grams of annatto extract, which we're going to dip in here, and it's going to turn a lovely green, which we're going to be using as part of our layering swirl and also on the top for some piped leaves later on. And I'm going to use our stick blender again just to really get those colourants to disperse really nicely and turn this a very consistent, beautiful shade of green. So the colour's nicely incorporated now, and I've brought it to kind of a light to medium trace. Now we're going to add in our scent. Today I am actually using rhubarb and strawberry from Candle Shack, which is actually one of my most favourite fragrances. I think it smells beautiful. The one thing with this fragrance oil is that it does discolour. I tested the fragrance oils before I used them, and it does discolour the bar to this kind of off-white yellowish colour. So that's something to bear in mind if you are using this particular fragrance oil. We've taken that into account and we've worked it into the actual design of our bar. So our bar is going to be kind of a yellowish colour with green running through it, which I think is going to work nicely. It's always a good idea when you're using a new fragrance oil, especially when the manufacturer doesn't tell you how well it behaves in soap, to just give it a test first, because it can discolour anything from a very pale off-white colour to a really dark brown, black colour, and any spectrum of colour in between that. And also the fragrance oils can cause batter to seize or misbehave or thicken really quickly. This fragrance oil doesn't seem to cause any thickening, so I'm not worried about that, just the discoloration. So that is worked in nicely now, and we're going to pour back in the remainder of the batter. And I'm now just going to use a stick blender again to bring the rest of the batter to a medium trace, because today we want a medium or light to medium trace for the design we're going for today. Now we're not adding any more colour into this portion. We are going with that pure sort of off-white yellowish tone that we know that fragrance oil will turn this into. So we are just going to add the fragrance oil. We have got 33.6 grams of fragrance oil in this portion, and the other portion had 6.4 grams of fragrance oil in it. So I'm just going to work this in using the spatula. Then it'll be time to bring in the mould and get started on the design. I shall probably decant it from this larger pan into a smaller jug as well, because it'll make pouring a lot easier. So today we're going to be using a hanger tool to create a hanger swirl design. We're basically going for a green, almost like a stem of the roses, running through the centre of this soap. So I'm going to start by pouring a base layer with our uncoloured portion. And I suppose I'm going to pour about 1 centimetre or so of this base colour. Then I'm going to give it a little shake and a tap just to check that our base layer is nice and even. And then just down the centre of the soap, I'm going to pour a line of green, keeping it, I suppose, about 1 centimetre thick if I can. Just whizzing it down the centre, whoops, like that. Then we're going to go back to our white, and we're just going to fill up around the edges. And we're going to work our way all up this bar by doing those green lines in the centre, which I'm covering with the white batter. And we're going to work our way up the soap bar doing that, giving it a little shake in between just to make sure we're releasing any air bubbles. So now we've got all the batter in, we are going to use our hanger tool, and we are trying to break down through the centre of that green line. So I reckon that was about here, and we are just pushing it straight down through the batter and then along the base of the soap mould and then up and out the edge. And for this one I then tend to repeat and do it again. So straight down. Now come the other way, up and out. And the idea behind that is that hopefully it is going to create what is going to look a little bit like a flower stem, in this case a rose stem, through the centre of the bar. Now we're going to pop this to one side and allow it to firm up. And now I'm going to pour the remainder of the green batter down into this piping bag, which is fitted with a nice leaf tip. And we're going to use this later on to decorate the top of the bar with some little piped leaves. So for the top of the soap today, I have piped these little peach coloured soap roses. I coloured the batter with annatto and madder powder, and that gave us this really pretty peach orange colour. And I then used a little rose piping tip to create these little peach roses, which are going to adorn our soap today. And I think this is probably set firm enough now, so we're going to start placing our little roses. Let's test with the first one. Yep, that is holding them nice and firmly. So we're just going to work our way up the bar. I'm placing them slightly, what's the word? Not offset.
Jaunty.
Jaunty?
On the oblique.
On the oblique, slightly off-centre to each other. So each bar should have a couple of roses. They will be cut through, but I kind of like doing them, I say, not directly next to each other, but slightly
wonky.
Slightly wonky to each other, yeah. I'm sure that's a really technical term. And I'm just going to say work the way up the bar, popping all of these roses into place. So all those roses are placed now, and this is where our green piping comes in, and we're going to use this just to add some decorative little leaves along the sides of these roses. And my soap icing recipe is exactly the same as my regular soap recipe, which you can probably tell because, as I say, we just used the excess from what we filled the bar in and popped it into a piping bag. And I find it a lot easier to use the exact same recipe to do the topping with, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have to remember two different recipes, which is nice. And the second is, in the EU, we're not in the EU anymore, are we? I keep forgetting that. In the UK, I have to remember to say that now, not EU, you have to get your recipes assessed before you can sell them. And if I was using two different soap recipes to create the actual bar and the frosting on top, that would make getting an assessment a lot more complicated. So to keep things easy, I just allow my regular soap to firm up, pop it in a piping bag, and then pipe with the exact same soap recipe. And it works for me. There we go, that will do. I could literally just keep piping for ages and filling in every tiny little gap I can see, but sometimes I think less is more and stop before you kind of give it overkill. So we have piped our little leaves. I think we've got a very cute little design on the top today. We have got our strawberry and rhubarb fragrance with our peach roses and our piped green leaves. And I think that is a gorgeous, gorgeous soap. The smell coming off it is absolutely divine. And we shall come back and chop it up to show you the inside tomorrow. So here we are, 24 hours later, ready to cut up our strawberry and rhubarb roses. I'm hoping that these roses are going to cut okay. I expect there shall be a little bit of leaf sort of perhaps breaking off, maybe a few little casualties, but I'm hoping that they will pretty much be okay, and they seem to be. Seems to have cut quite nicely. Let's check out the inside of one of these. Let's start here. There we go. One strawberry and rhubarb roses, the cut. And I think that little swirl in the middle has worked quite nicely. I say we were going for the impression of a couple of sort of stems of a rose bush, and I think that, you know, that kind of, in an abstract way, captures that. And then on the top we have got the little roses there, which I think look really sweet. So the final bars are here. I'm very happy with them. I think those roses on the top look really delicate and really pretty, and I think these are a very beautiful soap for any time of the year, but especially for Mother's Day. So these are going to be available in our shop from the 1st of March 2021 in limited quantities as always. If you enjoy our soap making videos, please do give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment. If you like our soaps and actually want to purchase one, then you can do so on our website here, and you can use our little discount code here to get yourself 20% off, which is nothing to be sniffed at. Unlike these soaps, which should be sniffed at because they're smelling gorgeous. I can smell it standing right next to it, and it really is a very, very pretty fragrance today. Join us on Tuesday for our behind the scenes businessy talk, or join us again on Friday for another soap making video, the 2nd March release. See you then. Bye.
Goodbye.